What is up? So we are moving now to early childhood, but not infants or toddlers. We're moving on up to about 5 years old to around 10. And yes, I'm clumping them together, even though if you look at any elementary school, you see a massive distinction between kindergartners and fifth graders. There's a big difference. But today's topic is about how to create independence in your children. And you would be surprised how independent your kindergartner and first grader can truly be. So, first, take a second. Think back to how life was like when you were a kid. We used to play outside, no cell phones, okay? Play outside, and then the rule was come back for dinner. As the sky started getting darker, you better be back home. Or in my case, we could hear my dad whistle really loudly with his two fingers, and we'd be like, okay. My friends would be like, Acker, your dad's calling you to go home. Yep, see ya, time for dinner. Okay? Nowadays, we're so worried about every little thing and not knowing where our kids are that we're really taking away from their ability to be independent. The last thing we want is for the moment that they get independence, licensed, or college, is that they go crazy because we didn't give them that. Now, I know that's so super extreme because we're not giving them total freedom in elementary school. But if you live in a safe neighborhood, if you have neighbors who are a little bit older, who you're comfortable with your children outside playing with, it's okay to let them go out and explore. Again, I don't know what neighborhood you live in. So if you're not in a safe neighborhood, then no, it's not okay. All right. If there have been burglaries, if there are random people, then of course not. But if you are listening to this video and you live in an area where you have a lot of just nice neighbors who chat with each other, or it's completely safe and there's lots of sidewalks or walking paths, let your kids go out and explore. And I'll start with a little story. And also, let me preface this with, it's not that I'm not worried about my kids when they're out. I think as a parent, you're always worried about your kids, no matter what age they are, okay? So I worry about them, but I also understand the importance of having that independence to become who you are and that confidence. So when my kids first, I think when COVID started, okay, we were like the only people in the neighborhood who always let our kids go out. They have watches on and we're like, come back in 2 hours. See you later. Like go walk around, go make some friends, go see who can join you, okay? Most people weren't like that. Most people were not comfortable. So one of the neighbors, I said to the mom, I said, hey, can your son come out and play with my oldest? Like they have 2 hours. They have till, let's say, 4 o'clock. And they're going to go out biking at the jumps area in the neighborhood that they call it. They're going to go to the jumps, and I just let them go by themselves. And she said, without a cell phone? And mind you, my oldest is in fourth grade at this time. And he was also there with my daughter, second grade, and my youngest, kindergarten. Okay? And I'm like, yeah, without a cell phone. It's a half mile from my house. They're fine. And she said, yeah, what did they get hurt? And I took a second. And I looked at her and I said, what did you do when you were hurt? And she said, yeah, when I was a kid, of course, like I'd walk home and tell my parents I got hurt. Exactly. And I looked at my oldest son and I said, hey, David, tell me, what are you supposed to do if you get hurt? We've already had this discussion, okay? And he said, I have to walk home or find the nearest neighbor that I know and a trusted adult to come call you. Perfect. Thankfully, they got hurt a handful of times, but nothing more than scratches and bumps. And I said, how many times did we get hurt as kids where we would walk home crying and bloody? And you just do. You'll be fine. So again, I know it's nerve-wracking letting your kids go out, but just remember the importance of it. Now, I will also let you know that until you have people in the neighborhood that also allow their kids out, it's very hard to be the first ones. So if there can be a group of parents who accept that kind of independence, work together. One thing that I tell parents who are new to this concept, even though they did it themselves, I tell them how about we work together and we kind of spy on the kids? They shouldn't know, but also, well, we want to make sure that they're safe from a distance without them ever knowing. So sometimes, let's say they're going on a bike ride somewhere. Maybe you hop in the car 5 minutes after they leave and you slowly back away and you watch them from a distance just to make sure that they're fine. I had my children one day before we went on a trip to Arizona. I wasn't buying any fresh groceries because we were about to leave for a week, okay? And my oldest woke up, he goes, Mom, I wanted eggs. Okay, well, we don't have any eggs right now. You have money, you have a bike, go to Ralph's and get some eggs. So he was like, really? Ralph's is about two miles away. He's like, can I really go bike over there? Yeah, go ahead. Go with your brother and sister. Go bike over there. So they're like, oh, yeah, let's do it. And, they're huddled together. And I hear them, maybe Baskin Robbins is open. Let's just go get ice cream. And that, of course, they don't think their mom hears, but I hear everything that's going on. And I'm laughing to myself, and I'm thinking that's exactly what siblings are supposed to do. Like, completely accurate in your developmental timeline. They hop on their bikes. They got their backpacks on. They have their wallets. They're on a mission. A few minutes later, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, ooh, I'm worried that someone's going to call the cops on me. I wasn't worried about them. I truly was like, what if somebody is thinking that I'm just such a terrible person to let my kid out like this? So I get in my car. I drive over to Ralph's. I park in the corner. Of course, what I see is their bikes are thrown in front of the door. Just plop down, okay? So I'm like, well, at least they're here. And I'm sitting there watching them. I have my phone out to take pictures, and my kids come out. They're all together. They're giggling. They're laughing. They pull out globs of candy. It's like, oh, they've got Twix. They've got Reese's. They've got gum, loads of gum. Okay, they're obsessed with chewing gum. And I'm just laughing. I'm taking pictures, and they're all sitting there sharing. Then one of them goes back inside to get some water because they forgot their water bottles, and they pass around the water with each other. And then they hop on their bike and they start riding back, and they rode on the sidewalk. They all stayed together. And then I got home before them. I parked the car, take the dog out. I'm walking the dog, and they come back like, oh, hey, Mom, we had a great time. Oh, good. Okay, did you get eggs? Oops, I forgot to get eggs, but that's okay. We're not really hungry. Oh, okay, great. Like nothing even happened. And there I have peace of mind knowing that my kids were safe. They were helping each other, and they were being very kind and polite in public. But they had that sense of complete independence. Start slow. Once you see from a distance and that you can trust your kids, because of course every kid is different, then you do tend to get more comfortable with it. Open up to the idea of more independence and work with your neighbors. Work with close friends who are comfortable slowly allowing that behavior so that your kids can stay off cell phones and that they get that sense of freedom. I hope you enjoyed this episode. That's our class bell. Time for me to go teach third period. I wish you guys all the best of luck. Email me with any questions that you have. Take care.